Time now for this week's Goofy Award. Well, I can't actually get near the language I used when I saw this story, which was really just a reflection of the shock I was in. But for now, I'm going to go with, are you frickin' kidding me? The federal government announced this week that it has set aside up to $280,000 for a new study on Canada's failing investment in the oil and gas industry. And of course, there's been a massive decline in capital investment over the last 3 years. I say, why not save the money, simply talk to one of a dozen oil analysts I could recommend, maybe Joseph Schachter, or ask Imperial Oil, which just put a natural gas property in British Columbia on the block, just another major producer, reducing exposure to Canada. Well, for that, they could ask Murphy Oil in Canada, Crescent Point Energy, Enerplus, ConocoPhillips, Exxon Mobil Company, who are all talking about focusing on the U.S. over Canada. Now, obviously, you got lower oil prices, check mark. But you've also got a general uninviting attitude toward oil and gas development in Canada. That plays a part. And then there's the pipeline opposition and the federal government's new rules in the approval process. Yeah, you appreciate they got new rules there, which has prompted the president of the Canadian Energy Pipeline Association, Chris Bloomer, to state recently that, in quotes, it's difficult to imagine that a new major pipeline project could be built in Canada under the Impact Assessment Act, which would much less attract any energy investment to this country. That's pretty straightforward. That didn't get picked up, by the way, in the news media to the degree I'd like to have seen. But I'm not sure which part of that's tough to understand, especially given the change in attitude in the U.S., contra to ours. It supports oil and gas development. And then you got the recent reduction in taxes and regulation. I mean, the government's own contract notice stated that they understood those changes, that it could impact capital flow from Canada and take it into the States. We're not competitive. Where every barrel, by the way, they produce, they're at record production, gets to Tidewater, gets world prices. I don't think it takes a genius to figure out why investment dollars are leaving Canada. In a word, government. $280,000 to study the obvious? Are you frickin' kidding me?